The sound of the gavel was a hollow crack, a punctuation mark at the end of my life's final sentence. After the hearing, my son, his wife, and their 3 meticulously dressed lawyers had managed to orchestrate the complete and utter demolition of my world. I can still hear every syllable Michael spoke to me that day, standing before the judge with a chilling void in his eyes, a coldness I'd never seen in the boy I had raised. "You don't deserve anything, you selfish old woman." He didn't shout it. He delivered the line in a low, calculated voice, a perfectly sharpened blade designed for maximum damage, as if he had been rehearsing it in front of a mirror for months, perfecting the inflection, the timing, the precise amount of contempt to pour into each word. Linda, his wife, stood beside him, a statue of smug satisfaction. Her arms were crossed over her chest, a small, triumphant smirk playing on her lips, a look so vile it made my blood run cold, turning to slush in my veins. The 3 lawyers, vultures in tailored suits, shuffled their papers on the polished table, their work done, their expressions a mixture of professional indifference and the quiet satisfaction of a job well done. They had won. And in their victory, I had lost everything. The house, the small 2-story building on Elm Street where I had measured Michael's height on the doorframe, where the scent of my husband's pipe tobacco still lingered in my memory. The savings I had painstakingly accumulated over 30 years of work, denying myself small pleasures to build a cushion for my old age. The bank account I had earmarked for my final days, for a dignified end. Everything gone. Wiped away by a single signature. The judge, a man with tired eyes and a weary slump to his shoulders, signed the documents without once looking me in the eye. He couldn't meet my gaze, couldn't bear witness to the life he was officially dismantling. I could only sit there, on that hard, cold chair in the gallery, feeling the foundations of my existence silently crumble, turning to dust around me. I walked out of that courthouse into the blinding afternoon sun with nowhere to go. Literally, not a single place on this earth to return to. The key to my own front door, resting in my purse, was now just a useless piece of metal. I walked for hours, my old, worn purse slung over my shoulder, the strap digging into my skin. Each step on the cracked pavement felt like it was taking me further and further away from the woman I once was. Emily Hayes, 62 years old, widow, mother. Now, a ghost. Now, nothing. That night, the first night of my new life, I slept on a park bench, not because I wanted to experience some romanticized version of freedom, but because I had no other choice. The hard slats of wood dug into my back, and the city's nocturnal symphony, the distant wail of sirens, the rumble of late-night traffic, the laughter of people heading home, mocked my solitude. And now, 6 long weeks later, here I am, crouched, in a darkened alley behind a bakery, the sickly sweet smell of day-old bread mingling with the stench of rot. I'm digging through the trash, my fingers sifting through coffee grounds and damp paper, looking for the telltale glint of empty cans to sell. My hands are shaking as I separate the aluminum from the plastic. I don't know if it's from the early morning chill that seeps into my bones, or the gnawing hunger that has been my constant companion for the past 3 days. Maybe it's the shame. The shame that burns like acid in my stomach every time someone walks by, their pace quickening, their eyes darting away, refusing to acknowledge my existence. I've been wearing these same clothes for 2 weeks, a faded floral blouse and a pair of worn-out slacks. They smell of dampness, of the street, of the unique and undeniable scent of defeat. I found a semblance of shelter in an abandoned doorway near the downtown square. The irony is a bitter pill I swallow every night. This is the same square, where I used to bring Michael when he was a little boy, his small hand clutching mine as we fed the pigeons. I'd buy him ice cream from the vendor on the corner, and he'd get chocolate all over his face, his laughter the sweetest sound I'd ever heard. Now, I sleep 2 blocks from the house that was mine, the house he took from me. Sometimes, in the dead of night, I wonder how I got here. The question circles endlessly in my mind, a vulture picking at the carcass of my past. How did the boy I spoon-fed soup to when he was sick, the boy whose nightmares I soothed, become the man who could so casually leave me on the street? How? Did everything I spent a lifetime building collapse in the space of a single, heartless hearing? But there's no point in asking those questions anymore. They are ghosts with no answers. This is my reality now. Me, collecting cans to buy a piece of stale bread. Me, sleeping on cold concrete. Me, invisible to the world. I managed to gather a decent number of cans and stuff them into a torn plastic bag I found days ago. It has a hole in the corner, but it works well enough. I walk slowly, deliberately, toward the recycling center on the other side of town. My feet ache with a deep, throbbing pain. The shoes I'm wearing, a pair I found in a donation bin, are broken, the sole on the right one flapping with every step. The pavement feels like a bed of hot coals, but I keep going because it's the only thing I can do. Keep going. The man at the recycling center is a creature of routine. He doesn't even look at me when I hand him the bag of cans. He's seen 1,000 faces like mine, etched with desperation. He counts them silently, his lips moving without a sound, and gives me a few crumpled dollar bills. He gestures with a flick of his hand for me to leave. He doesn't say thank you. He doesn't say anything at all. To him, I'm just another one, an old woman who collects trash, nothing special, nothing important, just a piece of the city's debris. With the money, I buy half a loaf of bread at the corner store. The woman at the counter, a kind-faced lady with weary eyes, looks at me with a profound pity that makes my skin crawl. She says nothing, but her silence is deafening. She gives me the bread in a thin paper bag, and I leave quickly, my head bowed. I can't stand that look, that silent compassion that makes me feel even smaller, even more pathetic. I sit on a bench in the square, the very same one where I slept that first terrifying night. I eat slowly, savoring every single bite, chewing each mouthful until it turns to paste because I don't know when I'll eat again. The sun begins its slow descent, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. The square fills with people coming, home from work, families laughing, couples holding hands, children running and squealing with delight. They all have a place to go, a warm bed to sleep in, a life to return to, everyone but me. I close my eyes for a moment and take a deep, shuddering breath. The cool evening air fills my lungs. I try to remember what my life was like before. The simple, beautiful act of waking up in my own bed, the familiar creak of the floorboards as I walk to the kitchen to make coffee, the comfort of sitting in my favorite armchair in the living room, a worn quilt over my lap, watching television. But those memories hurt. They are shards of glass in my mind because they're not mine anymore. Michael took all of that. He sleeps in my bed now. He drinks coffee in my kitchen. He lives the life that I so carefully, so lovingly built. And I'm here, a forgotten relic of that life. I open my eyes when I hear the crisp sound of expensive shoes on the pavement approaching. A man is walking directly toward me. He's wearing a dark, well-pressed suit and carrying a leather folder under his arm. He stops directly in front of me and looks down at me, his expression unreadable, something I can't quite decipher. It's not pity. It's not disgust. It's something else entirely. Something like recognition. "Excuse me," he says, his voice firm but surprisingly kind. "Are you Emily Hayes?" My heart stops for a second, a frantic bird caught mid-flight. No one has called me by my name in weeks. No one has looked me in the eye as if I were a real person, a human being with a history and a name. I look up at him, my mouth dry, unable to form a response. I'm confused, even a little scared. Who is this man? What could he possibly want from me? I manage a slow, hesitant nod, not knowing what else to do. He takes a deep breath, as if preparing to say something of immense importance. He opens the folder under his arm and pulls out a pristine, white, sealed envelope. He hands it to me carefully, as if it were a precious artifact. "Mrs. Hayes, my name is Daniel Wallace. I'm an attorney. I've been looking for you for 3 weeks." 3 weeks. My mind struggles to process the words. He looks at me intently, his gaze steady, and then he says something that makes my entire body freeze, the blood turning to ice in my veins. "Your brother passed away 2 months ago, and he left you something. A mansion valued at $3 million, and a cash inheritance of $20 million. The world stops. The sounds of the square, the children's laughter, the distant traffic fade into a dull, humming silence. I can't breathe. I can't think. $20 million. A mansion. My brother. The brother I hadn't spoken to in over 15 years. The brother who left after a bitter fight and never came back. But there's a condition," the lawyer continues, his voice growing more serious, pulling me back from the brink of shock. "A very specific condition you must meet to receive the inheritance. And believe me, Mrs. Hayes, when I tell you that this condition is going to change everything." My hands tremble uncontrollably as I take the envelope. I open it slowly, with a mixture of fear and hope and something I haven't felt in a very long time, something that feels like life returning to a barren wasteland. I pull out the letter inside. The handwriting is my brother's. I recognize it immediately, that familiar, confident slant. And as I begin to read his words, I feel something deep inside me, something I thought was long dead and buried, begin to awaken. That day was when everything started to change. Before it all fell apart, I had a simple life. Nothing fancy, nothing extraordinary, but it was mine. I had my house, my routine, my small, cherished moments of peace. I would wake up every morning at 6, make coffee in the kitchen I knew by heart, and open the curtains to let the morning light in. That house wasn't big, but I had paid for it with my own work, with years of effort and sacrifice. I lived there for 35 years, first with my husband David, a good, kind man, until a sudden heart attack took him from me when Michael was just 8 years old. After that, it was just me and my son. I raised him alone, giving him everything I could, pouring all my love and energy into him. I worked as a secretary in an accounting office for 25 years. I didn't earn much, but it was enough. It was always enough because I knew how to manage. I knew how to make every single dollar count. Michael grew up in that house. It's where he learned to walk, tumbling onto the worn floral rug in the living room. It's where he celebrated every birthday, blowing out candles on cakes I baked myself. It's where he studied for his exams, hunched over the kitchen table late into the night. I watched him grow with a fierce, all-consuming pride. He was a good kid, responsible, loving. Or so I thought. Maybe I only saw what I wanted to see. Maybe a mother is always blind when it comes to her son. When Michael turned 30, he met Linda. She showed up at the house one day, holding my son's hand, flashing a perfect, blindingly white smile. She was dressed in expensive clothes, far too expensive for someone who claimed to work in a clothing store. She told me she was a manager, but something in her eyes, a sharp, calculating glint, made me doubt her. There was a coldness there, a raw ambition I couldn't quite name. At first I tried to be kind. I tried to accept her for Michael's sake. He seemed happy, and that's all that mattered, right? But Linda started changing things. Small things at first, insidious little comments and suggestions. "Emily, don't you think this house is a bit too old for you to be rattling around in all alone? Emily, Michael is so worried about your finances. Maybe you should let him help you manage things. Emily, at your age, you should be resting, not working so hard." I didn't understand what she was getting at. I thought she cared about me. How naive I was. A year after they met, they got married. It was a small wedding in a rented hall. I paid for half of it. Michael asked me with that look I knew from his childhood, the one that always melted my heart. "Mom, just this once. I promise I'll pay you back." He never did, but at that moment, I didn't care. It was my son's wedding, my only son. After the wedding, everything changed, accelerating at a terrifying pace. Linda convinced Michael they needed their own place. I agreed, of course. It was natural. Newlyweds need their space. But then the visits started, the serious conversations, the carefully worded proposals. Mom, Michael would begin, Linda nodding encouragingly beside him. Linda and I have been thinking. This house is just too big for you. It has 3 bedrooms and you only use 1. Wouldn't it be better to sell it and move into a smaller apartment? Something easier to maintain? I refused, gently but firmly. That house was mine. It was all I had left of the life I built with David. It was the vessel that held all my precious memories. I wasn't going to sell it. So they started with another strategy, one more subtle, more dangerous. Mom, at your age, you really should have your papers in order. What would happen if you got sick? If you had an accident? You should give me power of attorney, just to protect you, to make sure everything is okay. He said it with so much apparent concern, with such supposed tenderness, that I almost believed him. Almost. But something inside me, a primal instinct for self-preservation, hesitated. Something told me not to sign anything, so I said I'd think about it, that I needed time. That annoyed them. I saw it on Linda's face. That mask of kindness cracked for a split second, and I saw what was underneath. Raw anger, impatience, pure, unadulterated ambition. But they didn't give up. They kept insisting, week after week, visit after visit, until one day, Michael arrived with 3 men in suits. He said they were lawyers, that they were here to help me organize my finances, to protect my assets. It's just a formality, Mom. We need you to sign some papers. It's for your own good. I was tired, so tired of fighting, so tired of feeling alone, so tired of being seen as an obstacle in my own son's life. So I signed. I signed without reading carefully. I signed trusting my son. I signed believing he would never, ever hurt me. What a mistake. What a terrible, life-altering mistake. 2 months later, I received a court summons. I didn't understand what it meant. I called Michael, confused, scared. He told me not to worry, that he would take care of everything, that I just had to go to the hearing and everything would be fine. But nothing was fine. The day of the hearing, I arrived alone. Michael was there, but not by my side. He was on the other side of the room with Linda and the 3 lawyers. They looked at me as if I were a stranger, as if I were the enemy. The judge read the documents in a monotone drone. He spoke of mental incompetence, of an inability to manage my own finances, of clauses I had supposedly agreed to, clauses that transferred everything to Michael. My house, my savings, everything. I tried to speak. I tried to explain that I hadn't understood what I was signing, that they had tricked me. But my voice sounded weak, broken, and no one listened. No one believed me. The judge delivered the verdict. Everything was transferred to the name of Michael Hayes. I had 2 weeks to vacate the house. 2 weeks to disappear from my own life. I looked at my son, desperately searching his face for something, some trace of the boy I raised, some sign of regret, of doubt, of humanity. But all I found was that cold, empty stare. And then he said it, quietly but with crystal clarity. "You don't deserve anything, you selfish old woman." Linda smiled. The lawyers closed their briefcases, and I just sat there feeling my world shatter into a million irreparable pieces. I left that courthouse with no direction. I walked for hours, not knowing where to go, having nowhere to go. I called a few friends, acquaintances, but everyone had excuses. Everyone was busy. Everyone disappeared when I needed them most. That night I slept on a bench, and the next, until I stopped counting the days, until the street became my only home. Now 6 weeks later, I'm holding this letter in my trembling hands. The letter from my brother. The brother who left 15 years ago after a stupid fight we never resolved. The brother who built a fortune while I struggled to survive. The brother who apparently never forgot me. And as I read his words, written in his own hand, I feel something I haven't felt in a long time. Something like hope. Something like justice. Maybe, just maybe, this isn't over. The letter trembles in my hands. I can't stop looking at my brother's handwriting, that slanted, firm script I would recognize anywhere. It's been 15 years since we last spoke. 15 years since that absurd, pointless fight over something so trivial I can barely remember what it was. A fight that tore us apart forever. Or so I thought. The lawyer, Daniel Wallace, sits beside me on the bench. He says nothing for a moment, just watches me as I read, giving me the space I need. The first line of the letter hits me like a physical punch to the gut. "Emily, if you're reading this, it means I'm gone, and it means they finally found you." My eyes instantly fill with tears. I can't help it. My brother is dead. Mark, my younger brother, the little boy I looked after when our parents worked late. The rebellious teenager who left home at 18 with a backpack and $100. The man who made a fortune in real estate and never looked back. I keep reading, each word a new blow, every sentence a painful reminder of all the time we lost. I know we haven't spoken in years. I know I failed you. I know when you needed me most, I wasn't there. But I want you to know something, Emily. I never forgot you. Not for a single day. I followed your life from a distance. I knew when you were widowed. I knew when Michael grew up. I knew when you worked yourself to exhaustion to give that boy everything. And I also knew when that same boy betrayed you. I can't breathe. My chest feels tight, constricted. How did he know? How could he possibly know what Michael did to me? I hired investigators 6 months ago. The letter continues. When I found out I was sick, when I knew I didn't have much time left, I needed to make sure you were okay. What I discovered enraged me. It broke my heart. My nephew, the son you raised alone, was planning to strip you of everything, and I couldn't do anything to stop him in time. Forgive me for that, sister. Forgive me for not acting sooner. The tears fall freely now, fat drops that land on the crisp paper, blurring the ink. I don't care. I keep reading. That's why I left very specific instructions. I'm leaving you everything I have. The mansion on the outskirts of the city worth $3 million, $20 million in cash and stocks. Here the letter stops. I look up at the lawyer, confused. He nods slowly and pulls another document from his folder. The condition is detailed here, Mrs. Hayes, he says in a serious, measured voice. Your brother was very clear. You can receive the full inheritance, but first you must live in the mansion for 3 months, 90 days exactly, without leaving, without giving up. And during that time, you must gather documented evidence of everything your son did to you, every paper he made you sign, every deception, every lie. Your brother wanted you to have the tools to defend yourself, to reclaim what is yours, to prove the truth. I'm silent. I can't process what I'm hearing. 3 months in a mansion, gathering evidence against my own son. For what? To confront him? To destroy him? I don't understand, I whisper, my voice hoarse and broken. Why would Mark want me to do this? Why not just give me the money? Daniel looks at me with something like compassion. Because your brother knew you, Mrs. Hayes. He knew you're not one for revenge. He knew you would forgive your son without a second thought. He knew that even after what Michael did, you would still find a way to protect him. That's why he set this condition. To force you to see the truth. To force you to face what happened. To give you the chance to get your dignity back. His words pierce me like arrows. He's right. I would have forgiven Michael, despite everything. Despite the nights on the street, despite the hunger, despite the soul-crushing humiliation. Because I'm his mother, and mothers forgive. They always forgive. But something inside me twists. Something dark. Something that has been growing during these 6 weeks of abandonment. Something that feels dangerously like rage. And if I refuse? I ask, my voice barely a whisper. If I don't want to meet the condition? Daniel sighs. Then the entire inheritance will be donated to a charitable foundation. You will receive nothing. Your brother was very clear on that too. Either you accept the conditions or you give up everything. I look at the letter again. I look at my dirty hands, my broken fingernails, my clothes that reek of misery. I look at the bag of empty cans at my feet. I look at the bench where I've slept for weeks. And then I look back at the lawyer. What if I find there isn't enough evidence? What if the papers were destroyed? Your brother thought of that, Daniel replies. He hired a team of private investigators before he died. They've already gathered copies of documents, secret recordings, testimonies from various sources. It's all stored in a safe inside the mansion. You just have to review everything, organize it, understand it, and then decide what to do with that information. Decide what to do. Those words echo in my head. Mark is giving me a choice, a chance, not just to get money back, not just to have a roof over my head. He's giving me the chance to get my voice back, my truth, my justice. But I'm scared. A deep, paralyzing fear grips me. What if I can't do it? What if seeing all that evidence breaks me completely? What if facing Michael shatters what little is left of me? I don't know if I can, I admit in a low voice. I don't know if I'm strong enough. Daniel places a gentle hand on my shoulder. It's a kind human gesture. It's been so long since anyone touched me with kindness that I almost start to cry again. Mrs. Hayes, your brother wrote something else at the end of the letter. Something you should probably read now. He hands me another sheet of paper, the last page. I read it with blurry eyes. Emily, if you're hesitating, if you're scared, I want you to remember something. You were the strongest person I ever knew. When Dad died, you were 16, and you took care of me like you were my mother. When Mom got sick, you worked during the day and cared for her at night without ever complaining. When your husband died, you got up and carried on for your son. That strength didn't disappear, sister. It's just asleep. It's time to wake it up. Not for revenge, not for hate, but for you. Because you deserve it. Because your own life is worth fighting for. It always was. I love you, Emily. And I'm sorry I never said it when I was alive. Now it's up to you to decide who you want to be. The woman who gives up, or the woman who gets up one more time. I close my eyes. I take a deep, shuddering breath. The cool evening air fills my lungs. I hear the sounds of the square. Children laughing, birds singing, life happening all around me. A life that I'm still a part of. Still. I open my eyes and look at Daniel. I accept, I say. My voice sounds firmer than I expected. I accept the condition. I'm going to do this. The lawyer smiles, a genuine, relieved smile. Then let's go, Mrs. Hayes. I'll take you to your new home. Well, your temporary home for now. He helps me up. My legs are shaky, but I steady myself. I bend down and pick up my bag of cans. Daniel gives me a strange look. You can leave that here, ma'am? No, I reply, my voice unwavering. This reminds me of where I came from, of what I survived. I'm keeping it. We walk to a sleek black car parked nearby. It's elegant, clean, the complete opposite of me. But when Daniel opens the door, he doesn't hesitate. He doesn't look at me with disgust. He just waits for me to get in. I sit in the back seat. It's soft, comfortable. It smells of new leather. I close my eyes for a moment and feel something inside me begin to shift. It's not hope yet. Not exactly. But it's something small, something that feels like possibility. The car starts and we drive away from the square, from the bench, from the cans, from the life I've lived for 6 weeks. I look out the window and see the city pass by. The streets I roamed looking for food, the corners where I slept, the places where I was invisible. I didn't know that decision would change everything, I whisper to myself. But deep down, I think I did. The car moves through streets I don't recognize. We leave the city center behind, the old buildings and the cracked sidewalks where I spent the last few weeks of my life. The landscape begins to change. The houses grow larger, the lawns greener, the gates taller. This is another world, a world I never belonged to. Daniel drives in silence. Now and then, he glances at me in the rearview mirror as if making sure I'm still there, that I haven't disappeared. I look out the window, feeling my heart beat faster and faster. I'm nervous, scared. I don't know what to expect. After half an hour, the car turns onto a private, tree-lined street. There's a black iron gate with a sophisticated security system. Daniel enters a code, and the gate swings open slowly, silently. We drive in, and then I see it. The mansion. It's enormous. 3 stories of light-colored stone and huge windows that glitter in the afternoon sun. It has a sprawling front garden with tiered water fountains and perfectly trimmed cypress trees. The driveway is made of white cobblestones that gleam. Wide, sweeping stairs lead up to the front door, a massive wooden door with intricate carved details. I can't believe this is real. I can't believe my brother, my Mark, lived here. The same Mark who grew up with me in a cramped 2-bedroom house. The same boy who shared my room because there was no other space. Now this. All of this. Welcome to your temporary home, Mrs. Hayes, Daniel says as he stops the car in front of the stairs. I get out slowly, my legs barely able to hold me. I look up at the windows, at the balconies. It's too much. Everything is too much. Did my brother live here alone? I ask, my voice a whisper. For the last 5 years, yes, Daniel replies. After his wife passed away, he never remarried. He had no children. This house was his sanctuary, his masterpiece. And now it's yours. We walk up the stairs together, each step feeling heavy, momentous. When we reach the door, Daniel takes out a set of keys and hands them to me. These are yours now. The front door, the study, the bedrooms, everything. I take the keys with trembling hands. They're heavy. They're real. This is real. I insert a key into the lock, turn it, and open the door. We step inside. The interior is even more impressive. The foyer is vast, with polished marble floors and a magnificent curved staircase leading to the second floor. There are priceless-looking paintings on the walls. Crystal chandeliers hang from the high ceiling, casting a warm, inviting light. Elegant furniture is arranged with impeccable taste. Everything is immaculate, clean, as if someone still lives here. There's a housekeeper who comes twice a week to clean, Daniel explains. She'll continue to come during the 3 months. There's also a gardener and a cook who can come if you request it. Everything is paid for. Everything is arranged. You just have to stay here and fulfill the condition. He shows me around the house. We pass through the main living room, huge and comfortable with plush leather sofas and a massive stone fireplace. Then the kitchen, a modern marvel with appliances that look like they're from a design magazine. The dining room, with a long table that could easily seat 12. The library, filled with books from floor to ceiling. Your brother's study is on the 2nd floor, Daniel says, as we climb the grand staircase. That's where the safe is. That's where you'll find everything you need. My heart pounds harder with each step. We reach a long hallway with several doors. Daniel opens one at the very end. It's a spacious study with large windows overlooking a lush backyard. There's a dark wood desk, shelves filled with organized documents, and on the back wall, a large built-in safe. The combination is in this envelope, Daniel says, handing me another sealed envelope. When do I have to start? I ask. Whenever you want. You have 3 full months, 90 days starting tomorrow. You can take the time you need to review everything, to process it, to decide what to do next. I nod silently. Daniel looks at me with something like concern. Mrs. Hayes, there's something else I need to tell you. What is it? Your son already knows about the inheritance. The world stops. My blood runs cold. What? Michael Hayes filed a lawsuit 3 days ago, trying to contest the will. He claims his uncle was mentally incapacitated when he wrote it, that he was manipulated, that the inheritance should pass to the closest living relatives, meaning to him as his nephew. I can't breathe. Of course Michael would do this. Of course he would try to take this from me too. And can he do it? I ask with a shaky voice. Can he take the inheritance from me? No, Daniel replies firmly. Your brother's will is ironclad. It was made with 3 lawyers present. There are medical evaluations proving Mark was completely lucid. And there are specific clauses that protect the inheritance against these types of lawsuits. But that doesn't mean your son won't try. In fact, we'll probably see him around here soon. My legs give out. I have to sit down. I sink into the plush leather chair behind the desk and close my eyes. I can't do this, I whisper. I can't face him. I can't see him again. Yes, you can, Daniel says, his voice soft but firm. And you will, because this time you're not alone. This time you have resources. You have legal backing. You have the truth on your side, and you have something your son will never have. What's that? Integrity. I open my eyes and look at him. He holds my gaze. Your brother told me a lot about you before he died, Mrs. Hayes. He told me you were the most honest person he had ever known. That you never took shortcuts. That you always did the right thing, even when it cost you. That's why he trusted you. That's why he left you all this, because he knew you would use it well, that you wouldn't be corrupted, that you would remain who you are. His words hit me deep. I feel tears threatening to spill again, but I hold them back. I've cried enough. It's time to be strong. What do I have to do now? I ask. Rest today. Take a bath, eat something, sleep in a real bed. Tomorrow you can start reviewing the documents. I'll be back the day after tomorrow to see how everything is going. In the meantime, here's my card. You can call me anytime if you need anything. Anything at all. He hands me his card. I take it and put it in my pocket. Daniel says goodbye with a firm handshake and leaves. I hear his footsteps going down the stairs. I hear the front door close. I hear the car driving away. And then I'm alone. Alone in this enormous house. Alone with my thoughts. Alone with this opportunity I'm still not sure I deserve. I get up slowly and walk around the study. I touch the leather-bound books on the shelves. I look at the photographs on the walls. There's one of Mark when he was young, smiling, his eyes full of mischief. He looks so much like the boy I remember. And there's another of the 2 of us together, as teenagers, sitting on the steps of our old house. I didn't remember that photo existed. We look happy, united. We were family. What happened? How did we drift so far apart? I sit at the desk again and look at the safe. It's all in there. The whole ugly truth about what Michael did to me. All the evidence I need. I just have to open that envelope, enter the combination, see what's inside. But I can't, not yet. First, I need to recover. I need to feel human again. I leave the study and explore the rest of the second floor. I find several bedrooms, all furnished, clean, ready. I choose one at the end of the hall with large windows overlooking the garden. The bed is huge, with crisp white sheets that look like clouds. I go into the connected bathroom. It's bigger than the living room in my old house. There's a deep soaking tub, a glass door shower, mirrors everywhere. I turn on the shower and let the water run. Hot steam fills the bathroom. I take off my dirty clothes, the clothes I've been wearing for weeks. I look at the crumpled heap on the floor and feel a wave of disgust. Disgusted by what they represent. Disgusted by what I lived through. I step into the shower, and the hot water hits my skin like a blessing. I cry. I finally let myself cry. I cry for everything I lost, for everything I suffered, for all the nights on the street, for the hunger, for the loneliness, for the betrayal. I cry until there are no tears left. Then I wash. I scrub my skin until it's raw. I wash my hair 3 times. I want to remove every single trace of those weeks. I want to feel clean again. I want to feel like myself again. When I get out of the shower, I find plush, soft towels hanging on heated silver hooks. I wrap one around myself and look in the mirror. I barely recognize the woman staring back at me. I'm thinner, older. There are new wrinkles etched around my eyes. But there's something else there, too. Something in my gaze that wasn't there before. Determination. I go down to the kitchen wrapped in the towel. I open the refrigerator and find it fully stocked with food. Fresh bread, cheese, fruit, ham. My stomach growls loudly. I make a huge sandwich and eat it standing right there, without sitting down, almost without chewing. It's delicious. It's the best thing I've eaten in my life. Then I go upstairs again and get into bed. The sheets are soft. The mattress is firm but comfortable. I close my eyes, and for the first time in 6 weeks, I really sleep. I sleep without fear, without cold, without hunger. I sleep like a person. And when I wake up hours later, with the moonlight streaming through the window, I know what I have to do. I know that tomorrow, I'm going to open that safe. I'm going to see what's inside. I'm going to face the truth. Because my brother was right. It's time to wake up the strength that's sleeping inside me. It's time to fight for my life. And this time, I'm not going to lose. The next morning, I wake up with the sun streaming through the window. For a moment, I don't know where I am. I look at the high ceiling, the elegant curtains, the crystal chandelier. Then I remember, the mansion? The inheritance? My brother. It's all real. I get up slowly. My body still aches, but it's a different kind of pain. It's not the pain of sleeping on the ground. It's the pain of a body that's healing. I go down to the kitchen and make coffee. The rich aroma fills the silent house, and for a moment, I feel at peace. But that peace doesn't last long, because I know what I have to do today. I have to open the safe. I have to see the truth. I go up to the study with a cup of coffee in my hand. I sit at the desk and take out the envelope Daniel gave me. I open it and find a piece of paper with the combination. 6 numbers written in my brother's hand. I walk to the safe and dial the numbers. I hear a soft click. The heavy door swings open. Inside are folders. Lots of folders, all meticulously labeled with dates and names. I take out the first one and open it on the desk. They're copies of the documents I signed, the same ones they made me sign that day when the lawyers came to my house. I read slowly, carefully, and then I see it. The hidden clauses, the fine print. Everything I didn't read, everything I didn't understand. There it is, in black and white. I signed over the deed to my house. I signed over access to my bank accounts. I signed my own destruction. But it wasn't my fault. The words were written to be confusing. The legal terms were impossible for a layperson to understand. They tricked me. They manipulated me. And I, trusting my son, fell into their trap. I opened the second folder. It's filled with photographs. Michael meeting with the lawyers months before the hearing. Michael and Linda at an expensive restaurant, celebrating. The date on the back of the photo is 2 days after I signed the papers. They're smiling, toasting with glasses of champagne, celebrating my downfall. My hands are shaking. I keep looking. There's more. Audio recordings on a small digital device. I plug it into the desk computer and listen. It's Michael's voice on the phone with one of the lawyers. It has to look legal. My mother can't suspect anything. I need the documents to be confusing but valid. She'll sign. She always does what I ask. The voice cuts through me. It's my son. My son planning this. My son talking about me as if I were an obstacle, a problem to be solved, There are more recordings. In one of them, I hear Linda's shrill voice. That old woman has too much money for someone who does nothing. That house should be ours. That money should be ours. It's time she understood that her time is over. I close my eyes. I take a deep breath. The pain is physical. It's like being stabbed in the chest, over and over again. I keep going through the folders. There are reports from the private investigators, detailing how Michael sought out unscrupulous lawyers, how he paid for false evaluations of my supposed mental incapacity, how he bribed former neighbors to say I was confused, that I forgot things, that I couldn't take care of myself. It was all planned. Every detail, every step, for months, maybe years. My son studied how to destroy me, and he succeeded. I get up from the desk and walk to the window. I look at the garden, the trees, the blue sky. I need air. I need space. I need to process this. Just then, I hear the doorbell ring, a loud, jarring chime that echoes through the silent house. My heart races. I'm not expecting anyone. I walk slowly down the stairs and look through the peephole. And what I see makes my blood run cold. It's Michael. He's standing at the door with Linda by his side. Both are dressed elegantly. Both have that look of smug superiority I know so well. I touch the doorknob but don't open it. I'm not ready, not now. Not after seeing everything I just saw. Michael rings the bell again, harder this time. I know you're in there, Mom. Open the door. We need to talk. His voice, the voice that used to soothe me when he was a baby, the voice that asked for bedtime stories, now sounds cold, calculating, threatening. I'm not opening it, I say from the other side of the door, my voice firmer than I expected. This is ridiculous, I hear Linda's sharp voice. That inheritance doesn't belong to you. You have no right to be here. I have every right, I reply. My brother left this to me. It's legal. It's mine. Your brother was crazy, Michael spits. And so are you if you think you're going to keep this. I've already filed a lawsuit. My lawyers are going to void that will. And when they do, I'm going to kick you out of here, just like I kicked you out of your house. His words hit me. But this time I don't crumble. This time I have something he doesn't know I have. I have the truth. I have the proof. I have everything I need to destroy him. Go away, Michael, I say calmly. I'm not opening this door, and I'm not letting you take anything else from me. Ever again. There's a stunned silence on the other side. Then I hear footsteps walking away. I hear a car start. They're gone for now. I go back to the study. I sit at the desk and look at all the open folders, all the scattered evidence, all the documented poison. And I feel something new growing inside me. It's not hate, not exactly. It's clarity. It's understanding. It's the certainty that I have to do something. I can't stay silent. Not this time. I spend the rest of the day organizing everything. I make copies. I mark important pages. I listen to the recordings over and over until every word is burned into my memory. Every lie, every betrayal, every moment my son decided I didn't matter. By nightfall, I have everything organized into a master folder. Everything I need is here. Now I just have to decide what to do with it, how to use this information, whether to seek revenge or seek justice, whether to destroy my son or simply protect myself. I sit on the bed that night, exhausted but strangely calm. I look out the window at the stars, and I think about my brother, about Mark, about how he knew exactly what I needed. Not just money, not just a house. I needed this. I needed to see the truth. I needed to understand that it wasn't my fault, that I'm not crazy, that I was the victim of something calculated and cruel. And now that I know, now that I have the proof, I have to decide who I want to be. The mother who keeps forgiving, or the woman who finally fights back. The victim who hides, or the survivor who fights. I close my eyes and whisper into the darkness. Thank you, Mark. Thank you for not forgetting me. Thank you for giving me this chance. And for the first time in a long time, I feel something like hope, something like power, something like justice. Now it's my turn. The days pass, and I immerse myself in the documents. Every morning I wake up, make coffee, and go up to the study. I read, I analyze, I take notes. Every folder I open reveals a new layer of betrayal. But it also reveals something else. It reveals who I was before all this, and who I can be again. One afternoon, while reviewing one of the last folders, I find something different. It's not legal documents or recordings. It's a small, carved wooden box hidden at the very back of the safe. I take it out carefully and open it. Inside are letters. Many letters, all written by my brother, Mark, all addressed to me, but never sent. I pick up the first one with trembling hands. It's dated 10 years ago, just after our last fight, the fight that separated us. I begin to read, "Dear Emily, it's been 3 months since we yelled horrible things at each other. 3 months since I told you that you were controlling, since you told me I was selfish. I've wanted to call you 1,000 times, but my pride stops me. I was always proud, you know that. But I want you to know something. I never forgot everything you did for me. When Dad died and Mom fell apart, you were 16 and you became my mother. You dropped out of school to work. You sacrificed so I could keep studying. And I never thanked you properly. Forgive me, sister. Forgive me for being a proud idiot." Tears fall on the paper. I keep reading letter after letter. There are dozens, one for each year, sometimes 2 or 3 a year. In all of them, Mark talks about me, about his memories, about his guilt, about his love. In a letter dated 5 years ago, he writes about Michael. "I hired an investigator to see how you were doing. I know it's invasive. I know I should just call you, but I'm still a coward. The investigator told me about your son, about how he treats you, about that woman he married. Emily, I'm worried. I see signs that something bad is going to happen. That boy has the look of someone who only thinks of himself. Like I used to be, but worse, much worse. If I could, I would tell you to get away, to protect what's yours. But I have no right to tell you anything, not after all these years of silence. My heart aches." Mark knew. He saw it coming, and he tried to warn me in the only way he could. By leaving me this inheritance, by leaving me these tools, by giving me the chance to defend myself when it was too late for him to intervene. There's one more letter, the last one. It's dated 2 weeks before his death. "Emily, if you are reading this, it means they finally found you. It means you are in my house. It means you saw all the evidence. And it means you now know the truth. I know it hurts. I know that seeing how your own son betrayed you is the greatest pain there is. Believe me, sister, I also suffered when I saw what was happening. But you needed to see it. You needed to understand it. Because you, with that huge heart you always had, would have forgiven him without looking back. You would have said that children deserve second chances. You would have shouldered the blame, as you always did. But not this time. This time I want you to see that it wasn't your fault. That you were a victim and that you deserve justice. Not revenge. Justice. There's a difference, Emily. Revenge destroys. Justice restores. You decide which path to take. But whatever it is, I want you to know something. I'm proud of you. I always was. You are the strongest person I ever knew. And I am so sorry I didn't tell you this when I could look you in the eye. I love you, sister. I always loved you. Now live the life you deserve. The life they took from you. The life you can get back. Your brother who never stopped thinking about you, Mark." I fold the letter carefully and put it back in the box. I cry for everything Mark and I lost, for all the years we could have had together that pride stole from us, for all the conversations we never had, for all the hugs we never shared. But I also cry with gratitude, because even in his silence, my brother looked after me. Even from afar, he protected me. And now, from beyond the grave, he is giving me the chance to get my life back. I wipe my tears and take a deep breath. Mark is right. I have to decide. Revenge or justice? Destruction or restoration? Hate or dignity? That night I can't sleep. I toss and turn in bed, thinking, remembering, imagining. I see scenes in my mind. Michael as a child, running towards me with open arms. Michael as a teenager, embarrassed for me to pick him up from school. Michael as an adult, introducing me to Linda with that fake smile. Michael at the hearing, looking at me with contempt. "You don't deserve anything, you selfish old woman." Which of those Michaels is the real one? Or are they all? Can one person contain so much love and so much hate, so much tenderness and so much cruelty? At 3 in the morning I get up, I go down to the study, I turn on the light and sit in front of the computer. I open a blank document and start writing. I write everything I feel, everything I discovered, everything I want to say but couldn't. The words flow like a river, page after page, until the sky starts to lighten and I realize I've been writing for hours. I read what I wrote. It's a letter to Michael, but I'm not going to send it, not yet. First, I need something else. I need a plan. Over the next few days, I work on that plan. I talk on the phone with Daniel. I tell him what I found. I ask him about legal options. He explains that I can file a counterclaim against Michael, I can accuse him of fraud, of manipulation, of financial abuse against an elderly person. I can take him to court. I can destroy his reputation. I can make him pay for what he did. But do you want to do that, Mrs. Hayes? Daniel asks me in his calm voice. Do you really want to go to a legal war with your son? Because if you do, there's no going back. It will become public, dirty, painful. I don't know, I admit. I don't know yet. Then take your time. Think it over. Because this decision will define not only your relationship with him, but also who you are. What kind of woman do you want to be after all this? His words resonate in my head for days. What kind of woman do I want to be? The question haunts me. It wakes me up at night. It accompanies me at meals. It watches me from the mirror every morning. One afternoon, while walking through the garden, I find something I hadn't seen before. In a far corner, there is a small stone bench with a bronze plaque. I get closer and read. For Emily, the sister who taught me the meaning of sacrifice. One day I will bring you here. One day I will tell you everything I kept silent. Your brother, Mark. I sit on that bench and cry again. But this time, they are not tears of sadness. They are tears of understanding. Mark built this for me. This place, this opportunity, this moment. He knew that one day I would be here, sitting on this bench, making this decision. And then I get it. I understand what I have to do. It's not about revenge. It's not about destroying Michael. It's about getting my voice back, my truth, my dignity. It's about setting boundaries, about saying enough, about showing that what they did to me was not right and that I am worthy. I always was. I return to the study with a new clarity. I open the folders again, but this time I don't look at them with pain. I look at them with purpose. I organize everything meticulously. I prepare copies. I mark important dates. I underline key phrases. I create a complete file, professional, irrefutable. I call Daniel. I'm ready, I tell him. I want to do this right. I want to confront Michael, but not with screaming, not with violence. I want to do it in a way that he understands exactly what he did. I want him to see the evidence. I want him to know that I know. And then, I want to give him a choice. What kind of choice? Daniel asks. The choice to do the right thing. To admit what he did, to apologize. Not because I forgive him, but because it's what he should do. And if he doesn't, then yes. Then we go to court. Then I let justice decide. Daniel is silent for a moment. Then he says, That's the wisest approach I've heard in years, Mrs. Hayes. Your brother would be proud. I hope so, I reply. I hope I'm doing the right thing. You are, he assures me. You definitely are. I hang up the phone and look out the window. The sun is setting behind the trees. The garden is tinged with orange and gold. It's beautiful, and for the first time in a long time, I feel beautiful too. Not on the outside, but on the inside, where it really matters. Tomorrow, the next phase will begin. Tomorrow, I'm going to invite Michael to a formal meeting here, in this house, with witnesses, with lawyers, with all the cards on the table. And I'm going to show him who I really am. Not the selfish old woman he thinks I am. Not the weak victim he left on the street. But Emily Hayes, the woman who survived. The woman who got up. The woman who is no longer afraid. Now it's my turn to speak. And this time, the world is going to listen. The meeting is scheduled for 10 in the morning. Daniel arrived early to help me prepare everything. We set up the main dining room like a boardroom. The long, polished wooden table is covered with folders, with documents organized in perfect stacks. Every piece of evidence has its place. Every proof is marked. Everything is ready. I hired a notary public to be present. There's also another lawyer, a woman named Clara Davis that Daniel recommended. She specializes in financial fraud and elder abuse. Her presence alone gives an undeniable weight to this meeting. This is not a casual family get-together. It's a formal, official, serious proceeding. I put on a simple but elegant dress I found in the closet of one of the bedrooms. It must have belonged to Mark's wife. It fits me well. I do my hair carefully. I look in the mirror and barely recognize myself. It's only been 2 weeks since I got here, but I look like a different person. I no longer have that lost, haunted look. My shoulders are no longer slumped. I'm standing tall, firm, ready. At 10 sharp, the doorbell rings. My heart is pounding, but it's not fear. It's anticipation. Daniel opens the door. Michael enters first, followed by Linda and 2 of their lawyers. I recognize them. They're the same ones who were at the hearing, the same ones who watched as my life was dismantled. Michael looks at me with a mixture of surprise and contempt. I see you've settled in nicely in your new palace, he says sarcastically. Enjoying money that doesn't belong to you. I don't respond. I just look at him calmly, serenely. Daniel guides them to the dining room. He points to the chairs on one side of the table. We sit on the other side. The division is clear, them against me. But this time I'm not alone. Thank you for coming, I say in a firm, clear voice. I know you've tried to contest my brother's will. I know you believe this inheritance should be yours. That's why I asked you to come, to show you something. I don't need to see anything, Michael interrupts. My lawyers already have everything they need to prove that will is invalid. You don't deserve any of this. Michael, I say his name with a calmness that surprises even me. I'm going to ask you to be quiet and listen. For once in your life, you're going to listen to what I have to say. Linda lets out a short, derisive laugh. Who do you think you are to talk to us like that? You're an old woman who was living on the street 2 weeks ago. You're right, I respond, looking her directly in the eye. I was living on the street because your husband left me there. But today, we're going to talk about how I got to that point and who is really responsible. Daniel opens the first folder. He takes out copies of the documents I signed and places them in front of Michael. These are the papers you had your mother sign 8 months ago. Do you recognize them? Michael barely glances at them. They're legal documents. She signed voluntarily. Voluntarily, I ask. Is it voluntary when you lie to your mother about what she's signing? When you use confusing terms and hidden clauses? When you hire unscrupulous lawyers to draft documents designed to deceive? I didn't deceive anyone, Michael says, raising his voice. You were confused. I was just trying to help you. Clara Davis, the lawyer, speaks for the first time. Her voice is as cold as ice. Mr. Hayes, we have evidence that you planned this fraud for months. We have recordings of conversations with your lawyers where you discuss how to manipulate your mother. We have photographs of you celebrating 2 days after she signed the papers. We have financial reports showing you urgently needed money because you had gambling debts of over $200,000. A heavy silence falls over the table like a stone. Michael turns pale. Linda stops smiling. One of his lawyers clears his throat uncomfortably. That's not true, Michael stammers. Daniel presses play on a small recorder. Michael's voice fills the room. It has to look legal. My mother can't suspect anything. I need the documents to be confusing, but valid. She'll sign. She always does what I ask. Michael stands up abruptly. Where did you get that? This is an invasion of privacy. It's illegal. It's completely legal, Clara Davis replies coolly. Your uncle hired private investigators. Everything they gathered was obtained legally. And there's more. Much more. I take out another folder. My hand doesn't tremble. I open it and show the photographs. Michael and his lawyers in secret meetings. Michael receiving cash from a loan shark. Michael in a casino, losing thousands of dollars. Linda buying designer clothes with my money. Linda at a lavish spa. Linda showing off her new car on social media while I slept on the street. You had debts, I say, looking my son directly in the eye. Big debts. Dangerous debts. And you decided the solution was to steal everything I had. My house, my savings, my dignity. You left me on the street, Michael. Your own mother. The woman who gave you life, who raised you alone, who worked to exhaustion so you could have everything. And you left me picking cans out of the trash. I didn't want you to end up like that, Michael says, his voice different now, smaller. I thought you would go to a friend's. I thought you'd find something. You thought? I repeat, my voice breaking for the first time. You didn't think at all, Michael. You didn't care about me. You just wanted the money. And when you saw me at the hearing, when the judge gave the verdict, you looked at me like I was trash. You told me I didn't deserve anything, that I was a selfish old woman. Do you remember that? Michael doesn't answer. He looks down at the table. His lawyers exchange nervous glances. Linda has her arms crossed, but her expression is no longer one of arrogance. It's concern. I could destroy you with this, I continue. I could file a criminal lawsuit. Fraud, financial abuse against an elderly person, forgery of documents, bribery of witnesses. The charges could get you 5 to 10 years in prison. And Linda would be implicated too. You could both lose everything. Your freedom, your reputation, your future. Are you going to do it? Michael asks. For the first time, I hear genuine fear in his voice. I'm silent for a moment. I look at them. My son, his wife, the lawyers who helped them. And I think of Mark's words. Revenge or justice? Destruction or restoration? I don't know, I answer honestly. It depends on you. On me? Michael asks, confused. Yes, on you. I'm going to give you a choice. One single chance. You can admit what you did publicly. You can sign a full confession. You can give me my house back. You can deposit the money you stole back into my account. And you can apologize. Not because I forgive everything, not because we'll go back to being a happy family. The next morning, Michael arrives on time. He signs all the documents, the full confession, the property transfer for my house, the financial agreements, everything. Clara Davis reviews it all meticulously. The notary certifies every signature. It's official. It's real. I have recovered what was mine. Afterward, we go to the bank. Michael makes the transfers, $350,000. All my money, back in my account. I see the numbers on the screen, and I can hardly believe it. It's real. It really happened. I won. But it doesn't feel like a victory. It feels like closure, like the end of a terrible chapter and the beginning of something new, something I don't fully understand yet, but feel growing inside me. When we finish at the bank, Michael says goodbye. I'm going to get help, Mom. Therapy, Gamblers Anonymous meetings. I'm going to work on myself. And someday, when I'm ready, if you're ready, I'd like to try to rebuild something. Not like before. Something new. Something honest. I wish you the best, Michael, I say sincerely. I really do, but I need time. I need to heal. I need to find myself again. I understand. Goodbye, Mom. Goodbye, son. And he leaves. And I stand there on the sidewalk, feeling the sun on my face, feeling the weight lifting from my shoulders, feeling for the first time in a long time that I'm going to be okay. That I am strong. That I survived. And that now, finally, I can start to live again. 6 months have passed since that day at the bank. 6 months since Michael signed the documents and returned what was mine. 6 months since I regained not just my house and my money, but something much more valuable, my dignity, my voice, my life. I decided not to live in my old house again. It has too many memories, too many shadows. Instead, I rented it to a young family with 2 children. They take good care of it. They fill it with laughter, with new life. And I stayed here in Mark's mansion. At first, I thought it would be temporary, that after the 3 months, I would move to a small apartment. But this place has become my home. I feel my brother here in every corner, in every detail. It's as if I've finally come back to him after all those lost years. I made some changes. I turned one of the spare rooms into an art studio. I always loved to paint when I was young, but I gave it up when I got married, when I had responsibilities. Now I paint every day. Landscapes, portraits, colors that express everything I couldn't say for years. It's therapeutic. It's liberating. It's mine. I also started a project, something that keeps me up at night in the best way. With part of Mark's inheritance, I created a foundation. It's called New Beginnings. It's for older women who have been victims of financial abuse or family abandonment. We give them temporary shelter, free legal advice, emotional support. We help them get back what they lost, to find their strength, to rise up as I did. The first woman who came to us was named Velma. She was 70 years old, and her daughter had left her in a horrible nursing home after selling her house. When I met her, I saw my own reflection. I saw the pain, the confusion, the shame of having trusted the wrong person. Now Velma lives in a nice apartment that the foundation helped her get. She recovered her money with the help of our lawyers, and she's happy, genuinely happy. There are others. Maria, whose son manipulated her into signing documents. Linda, who was deceived by her son-in-law. Each with her own story, each with her own scars, but all surviving, all fighting, all remembering that they are worthy. Sometimes I wonder what Mark would think of all this. I think he would be proud. I think this is why he left me this fortune. Not just for me to live well, but so I could help others. So I could turn my pain into purpose, my tragedy into transformation. Michael and I haven't spoken much. He sends me a message every month. He tells me how his therapy is going. He says he's been 6 months without gambling, that he's working a regular job, earning his own money. He told me that he and Linda separated. She couldn't handle a life without luxuries, without easy money, without shortcuts. She left, and maybe that was the best thing for him. I don't know if we'll ever have a close relationship again. Part of me wants to try, the part that is still his mother. But another part knows that some things break in ways that can't be fully repaired. They can only be rebuilt. And that takes time, patience, and the will from both sides. For now, I'm at peace with the distance, with the space, with letting him make his way while I make mine. Yesterday, I received something unexpected. A letter. It arrived by certified mail. When I opened it, I saw it was from a law firm I didn't know. I sat on the garden bench, the one Mark built for me, and began to read. The letter said that Mark had left final instructions, a secret clause in his will that was only to be revealed 6 months after I took possession of the inheritance. If in those 6 months I had fulfilled the original condition, if I had used the evidence wisely, if I had found justice without destruction, then there was something more, something he wanted me to have. Attached to the letter was a sealed envelope. I opened it with trembling hands. Inside was a key and a note in Mark's handwriting. Emily, if you are reading this, it means you did the right thing. It means you faced your pain with dignity, that you sought justice, not revenge. I'm proud of you, sister. I always was. This key is for a safe deposit box at the central bank. The number is on the back. There you will find one last surprise. Something I saved for you all these years. Something that proves I never stopped loving you. I never stopped looking out for you, even when we weren't speaking. Enjoy it. Use it well. And always remember that you are worthy, that you are strong, that you survived, and that your story doesn't end here. It's just beginning. With eternal love, your brother Mark. I cry as I read. Tears of gratitude, of love, of loss, but also of hope. Mark thought of everything, even this, giving me something more. Not because I need more money, but because I needed to know that someone thought of me, that someone looked after me, that someone believed in me when I didn't even believe in myself. Tomorrow, I will go to the bank. I will open that safe deposit box. I will see what Mark left me. But I already know it doesn't matter what it is. What matters is the gesture, the love, the connection that never really broke. It was just silenced for a while. I get up from the bench and walk through the garden. The trees sway in the wind. The birds sing. The sun is setting, tinging everything with gold. It's beautiful, and I'm here to see it, to feel it, to live it. I think of the woman I was 6 months ago. The woman on the street collecting cans, feeling invisible, feeling defeated. And I think of the woman I am now, standing in this garden, the owner of my life, helping others, painting, creating, living. It wasn't easy to get here. There were moments when I wanted to give up, moments when the pain was too much. But I kept going, one step at a time, one day at a time. And here I am. I go into the house and up to the study. I look at the folders still stored in the closet. All the evidence, the whole story of my fall and my resurrection. Someday I'll write a book about this. I'll share my story so that other women know they are not alone, that they can survive, that they can win. Not with shouting, not with violence, but with truth, with dignity, with justice. I sit by the window and watch the stars begin to appear in the sky. And I ask myself the question I ask myself every night. Would I have had the courage to do this without Mark's inheritance, without the documents, without the legal backing? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But what I do know is that the world gave me more than money. It gave me a chance. It gave me tools. It gave me the possibility to fight when everyone thought I was finished. And I took that chance. I took it with both hands. And I didn't let go. Now my story is different. I'm not the victim. I'm the survivor. The fighter, the woman who got up after hitting rock bottom, the woman who got her life back, the woman who helps others get theirs back. And this doesn't end here. It's just beginning. There are more women to help, more stories to change, more lives to touch. And I'm ready, more ready than ever. I stand up and walk to the mirror in the study. I look at myself. I really look. And for the first time in a long time, I like what I see. Not for the physical, but for what's behind the eyes. Strength, purpose, life, I smile. It's a genuine, real smile. And then I ask myself the final question. The question I ask anyone who hears my story. The question Mark asked me in his letter months ago. Would you have the courage to do what I did? Would you have the courage to face the one who hurt you? To seek justice without destruction? To get up after hitting rock bottom? To forgive without forgetting? To rebuild your life when all seems lost? I hope so. I hope that if you ever find yourself in the darkness, you remember my story. Remember that it's possible to get out, that it's possible to win, that you are worthy. You always were. And that it is never ever too late to reclaim your life. It's never too late to be who you really are. It's never too late to start over.